What is going on? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lit and High Vibes podcast. It is me, your host, Quintina. And for those of you who are listening on this podcast, I am also going live on Facebook, sharing the same message. I know it's been a minute. Your girl has been living her best life. You feel me? And also in the midst of that, I've just been just trying to take a break from social media and just living my life, trying to maintain my peace. And I've also been doing a little bit of personal development and learning, which has brought me to make an episode, hop on this live. And I've also been challenged to share a very important principle that is a core principle that we are practicing in a group that I am a part of called Sacred Circle with my mentor and coach, Miss Chanel Cooper Sykes. So, with that being said, I'm going to get into what I'm going to talk about today. What the title is about, which is the game of life, right? And this is a very key principle to living your best life. So I would highly encourage you to get something to take some notes with. This will not be a long video, a long recording. I'm just going to share these key pieces, to this main principle that I am currently relearning and just studying and trying to just really get rooted in. So, because I will warn you that you will continue to see me live my best life. You will continue to see me happy, healthy, you feel me, in better environments, traveling the world. You will see my money grow in the next weeks, months, and years to come. And if you are at the same place that you're at while you're watching this video moving forward in the future, then you know what? That is on you. I'm doing my part. I'm sharing. And so it's up to you to take it, put it into practice, and make it do what it do. Okay, so let me get into this. I hope my Wi-Fi is good for this video. Okay, so the game of life is all about sowing and reaping, right? And there are 5 key pieces that you should be aware of when it comes to sowing and reaping. And I know this may sound like, oh, sowing and reaping, I know what that is. Like, oh, they talk about that in church. That's in the Bible. But it's pretty much what you put out is what you give back. And a lot of us, sometimes we do this. We sow a lot of seeds unintentionally, like bad seeds, and then we wonder why our life is like all out of order and crazy, because we forget these 5 key pieces when it comes to sowing and reaping, and you just want to become more aware of it. So let me get into it. I am going to share the 5 key pieces, and the first piece is whatever you sow, whatever seed you sow is the seed you will reap, right? And just to break that down a little bit more, like I was just saying, what you put out is what you receive back. And how the seeds and how we sow seeds is with our thoughts, our words, our actions, our time, our money, our emotions, right? And for example, if you are in a place where why does it get dark? If you are in a place where it's like constantly you're experiencing like negative things, somewhere in your life you have sown that seed of negativity, right? Whether that is with thoughts that you was unaware of, things that you said maybe in even if you say something sarcastically or just playing and just like a negative thing, that, believe it or not, can sow a seed into your life of negativity, right? Or if you find yourself always tired, somewhere down the line, you kept telling yourself that, oh, I'm tired, I can't do this. Oh, I'm tired. And your words have power. And Yeah, man. And it took me a while to really like let that sink in. But your words have power, and your thoughts, like I said, and your actions. And the things that you're experiencing right now is the harvest of seeds that you've planted maybe a week ago, a year ago, 10 years ago. And, you know, sometimes we're not aware of that. But, you know, so that's why I'm sharing this. So now you can become a little bit more aware. And also, sometimes sometimes what we are experiencing may not have been the seeds that we personally have planted, but they can also be seeds from like past generations, you know, our grandmothers that we are experiencing. So that's why it's so important to become aware of these seeds, right? And understand this principle. So moving forward, you can break those negative generational, curses, right? Okay. And also another key piece to the first piece of sowing and reaping is making, like, being aware that whatever, I know it may sound like I'm saying the same thing, but like I'm just saying it in a different way to make sure I'm expressing this clearly, right? So just keep in mind, like, if you say you plant a lemon seed, what are you going to reap from that? A lemon tree. So that's the same with your actions and with your words and your thoughts, right? Okay. So another key piece to sowing seeds is making sure you have a sacred space to plant those seeds, right? And that could be a little corner in your room. If you live in a house with a lot of people, sometimes the bathroom is the best place to, you know, sow your seeds and, you know, and create that sacred space for you to have time with your thoughts and with God and with yourself, right? Or even in your car. Like, I don't know, it's something about the car that it just makes, I don't know. I find I do my best videos and things in the car. I don't know. Or my best thoughts come when I'm sitting in the car. Let me see. I got some notes here. I'm just trying to make sure I touch on what I want to touch on. Yeah, so creating a sacred space to sow your seeds. And also keep in mind the negative things that you experience in life are also not really bad things. Those are just indicators of areas that you may need to sow a little bit more in that you probably was unaware of, right? So let's see, that's another thing to keep in mind, right? Okay, and then so moving on to the second key, the second piece to sowing and reaping is when you sow, things take time to grow, right? So this is where you have to exercise that faith muscle, right? And this is where a lot of people can sometimes dig up their seed in a sense where you won't see a harvest. And what I mean by that is like putting negative thoughts or being impatient or getting anxious or worrying about the seeds you've planted and the things that you want to reap a harvest of going forward. So say like one of your seeds was like to move, you know what I mean? Move into a new place, and then it's getting close to the date that you want to move or something, and you like, oh my God, like what is going on? Everything seems wrong. Like just by putting that energy towards it and thinking like that can actually slow up the process or hinder your seed from, you know, growing and you reaping that harvest, right? So you want to just be aware of that. And then also during this time of waiting, you know, there's also a waiting period when it comes to sowing and reaping. Like I just said, this is also the time that you actually have to do the work to see that come into fruition, those seeds that you've planted. So this is the time that you should be meditating, you should be praying over the seeds that you've planted, right? Visualizing, also taking action, and whatever action that is, depending on what seed that you planted. So say that one of your seeds / one of your goals is to become healthier. What are some actions that you can do while you're waiting, to see that harvest of good health, or to lose 10 pounds? You want to be exercising. You want to be eating fruits and vegetables, cutting back on processed foods and drinking lots of water. Those are the things that you do when you're waiting for those results or that harvest, right? In a sense. You want to also, during the waiting period, you want to also, let's see, what else can you be doing? Oh, this is also a time to like dig up like old roots or things that no longer serve you going forward, or old programs, because we've all been like programmed to live a certain way, right? So this is time to like monitor your thoughts, or things that's not like of your higher self or of God that can hinder your growth moving forward, right? So that's also, that could be monitoring the environments you're in. Like if you notice that you're around, being more aware of the environments you're around, the people you're around, if you're in a negative environment, and just trying to reduce that as much as you can in this like waiting period when it comes to sowing and reaping. Also, this is a time to be speaking life into your seeds. So speaking life into yourself, saying affirmations, and really like embodying what you would feel like and what you would be doing, and just how your life would be once you do see those things manifest into your life, right? So you want to kind of shift your energy and put yourself into the energy as if the things that you are planting is in your life right now, right? Like how would you feel if you lost the weight you wanted to lose, if you was healthier, or if you was in the home you wanted to live in, or if you was driving a car, you know what I mean? If you was in that space, how would you feel? What would you be like? Would you be worried about it? No, you wouldn't. You would be grateful. So expressing gratitude, and just doing that on a daily basis for the things that you want to see harvested into your life, right? Let's see what else comes with the waiting period. And then also this is a great time, like I said, to be healing. Some people call it doing shadow work. So really digging deep and seeing, and just like spending time with yourself, spending time with God, and really becoming aware of habits that have held you back before, that you can improve upon, right? Okay. Number 3 piece to sowing and reaping is how you nurture determines the nature of your seed or of your harvest, right? So this kind of, goes hand in hand with the waiting period. So say one of the seeds you planted, like I'm going to keep using for an example, is to be healthier or stronger or more fit. How you, during that time, nurturing that seed of becoming healthier, you want to be consistent with working out, as consistent as you can, putting yourself on a schedule, right, to working out and planning out meals, right? Because what that is going to do, if you're doing that for a period of time until you get to where you want to be, that is going to determine the quality of the harvest that you reap, like whether it's, a good harvest or like an average harvest. That all depends on what you're doing, how you're nurturing it, right? Another part of nurturing it is protecting your seed, right, from people's negative thoughts, or self-limiting beliefs that, or telling you can't do it, and protecting your seed from your own doubts and worries and fears that it won't come into fruition, and just checking yourself, right? Because that goes back to what I was saying, how those things can actually dig up your seed or slow down the process of you of that seed actually, growing and harvesting in your life. Okay, so you don't want to you want to monitor your feelings and the things you say on a daily basis when it comes to nurturing, and just making sure you're being consistent with doing the work. That is all part of nurturing your seed. And like I said, doing the work is praying, meditating, visualizing, embodying those emotions, right? And just monitoring and just protecting it, right? And that goes along with not sharing. Some people, monitoring who you share your thoughts or your goals with, right? Okay, and number 4, let's see. Number 4 is what's in store is more. Okay, so imagine you plant a tomato seed and you're watering it and you're doing everything that you're supposed to do in order for this tomato to grow into the best, juiciest tomato you've ever grown, right? So when the tomato is ripe and it's time for you to pick that tomato and you cut it open, what falls out of that tomato? More seeds, right? So that is the same with your life, essentially. When you plant a good seed, and you nurture it properly, like, God is going to multiply the fruit that you produce into your life. God does not add, like, God can't add anything if you don't produce anything, right? So God multiplies. I just want to put emphasis on that. God multiplies. So keep that in mind when you are planting these seeds. So yeah, when you cut that tomato open, it's more seeds. So with more seeds, you have the ability to plant another seed into the ground and grow more tomatoes, right? And it's just a continuing process when you grow more seeds and when you grow a good harvest, right? And on the flip side, that's the same with negative things. If you are planting negative seeds into your life, then you are going to reap a harvest of multiple negative events that will happen in your life, sort of like a domino effect, right? So that's why you want to be aware. And also, let me make this point. The principle of sowing and reaping is an ongoing process. No one life is perfect. This process will not be a perfect process. It's not about perfection. It's about constant correction, right? So we all have, negative seeds that we have planted in our lives one way or another. You know what I mean? So it's just about monitoring that and becoming more aware. The more you are aware of it, and the more you stay in constant correction and doing the work of it, the less challenging. And it's kind of because it's a muscle, right? So it's like it's like eventually you get to a point where it's like, okay, I understand what's going on. So now that I have this negative experience, let me, once you're aware of things in your life or anything, that is the opportunity to change it, right? To change it for the better in your life, I should say. So keep that in mind. It's not a perfect process, but becoming more aware of any negative or problem in your life is the starting point to changing it. Okay, so what's in store is more. Keep that in mind. And the final 5th key principle, I don't know how long I've been on here. Let me see. 19 minutes. Lord, I promise I try to get it down to 10, but anyway, I'm working on not being so long-winded. So just bear with me. This is the last principle, and the last principle is, the last piece to sowing and reaping is deepening your roots. And pretty much what that is once you understand and become aware, and if you're watching this, you are reaching some level of awareness now. So now you actually have the responsibility to share this information with other people, and to continue to plant better seeds and continue to improve the areas of your life that you need to improve going forward, because what that is going to do is actually help you build a stronger foundation to create in your life. We all was born creators. Like, God made us all creators, right? And we all have the power to create, whether you realize that or not. You are creating every second of every day, whether that's good or bad things, you are creating. So it's really your responsibility to become more aware of that, and begin to plant better seeds into your life, and share like your gifts and talents with people, and exchange value, which is how you continue to grow and continue to deepen your roots. And also is how I just drew a blank. It's also how you break generational curses, right? Is by learning how to plant better seeds. Okay, so that concludes the principle of sowing and reaping. So pretty much I'm just going to run it back. What I have talked about what am I what was I saying, y'all? Okay, so what I just shared with you was the 5 key pieces to sowing and reaping. The first one is, whatever seed you sow is what you will reap. The second piece, why do I keep saying principle? I don't know, maybe because it's P. The second piece to sowing and reaping is when you sow, things do take time to grow. So there is a waiting period. And how fast your things manifest depends on what you are doing in the time of waiting, the work you are putting into, the mindset you are in, and how you maintain, just like your positive attitude, how you maintain not positive attitude, but it's how you maintain your energy while waiting on that seed to manifest, right? The third piece is, what's the third piece? How you nurture determines the nature. The fourth is, what's in store is more. And the fifth is, deepen your roots and build a stronger foundation the more you continue to sow seeds, and the more you continue to sow better seeds, right? All right. And what I was going to say, that concludes, I'm doing a lot right now. That concludes this episode today, and also this live. Y'all, I'm doing 2 things. I'm recording my podcast and sharing this on the live. So hopefully this brought you some value. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I will tune in later. Have an awesome weekend. And yeah, bye.